So we have 60 people, that's our universal, and 16 had been to, not been to either. These are our outliers in this case. 32 people went to the Morris Stampede, 24 to the Red River X. So let's do our Venn diagram as much as possible, and then we might have to do some solving before we fill out the rest of the Venn diagram. So be okay, you have to be okay with that. So in this case, my universal is already given, and 16 had been to neither. This is Morris Stampede, R and M. Morris would be 32, this would be 24. Let's say I asked you, are these sets joint or disjoint? Right? Let's say you didn't know. If you add up 32 and 24 and 16, right, you're going to be over 60 already. So that is an indication, that's actually proof that there are people that have been to both events, right? There's no other way. All right, draw a Venn diagram. And so right now we don't know how to proceed, and so your first thing should be try to find that middle piece. So we'll leave this for now. We'll come back to it. So determine M at R, right? Intersect. This is intersection. So we want that middle. Explain what it represents. So let's do that first. So you go 60 minus 16, right? You take the universal minus the outliers, and then you add up set M, set R, and subtract the intersection. Right? And so this is 44, and this is 56 minus X, right? And when you subtract, when you go minus 56 from both sides, you end up with a negative 12, and that's equal to negative X. And then you just divide both sides by negative 1. X is equal to 12, okay? You will get 1 mark for coming up with the 12, and then B, what does it represent, right? 12 people attended both. So in this case, I give you the notation. They ask you for an explanation of that notation. Sometimes they will they give you this, and they'll ask for the notation, so you have to be comfortable going either way, okay? Now we can go back to our Venn diagram. Let's fill that out. That's 12. 32 minus 12 is 20. 24 minus 12 is 12. And that's your completed Venn diagram. So you get 2 marks for a completed Venn diagram. If the middle is wrong, so you got to watch out for this one. If the middle is wrong because you didn't do the math correctly here, you would lose a mark here, but you would not lose the mark in your Venn diagram. So you got to go with it, unless you end up with negatives. Then I would say you should have caught that, and you needed to go back. And so then I will take marks off here if you end up with negatives. So let's say you got 8, then I would expect you to have 24 in here. And I would have 16 in here, right? So, and but the ultimate check is check if all of these add up to 60, right? So you don't want to just take what you, right? So you go 20 plus 12 plus 12 plus 16, that is 60. So all sections in this diagram add up to the universal. Now we're good, okay? C, determine N of not R, okay? Using the appropriate formula. Right now I really don't care if you have the right number. It's basically 60 minus whatever R is. Okay, so that's 36. 36 people did not attend the Red River X. Okay, that's what that means. Did not attend Red River X. D, how many people attended only one event? That would be the 20 here and the 12 there. So that is 32 people. Try to put people, attendees, or some kind of unit next to the numbers. E, determine the union of the 2 sets. So either you add up the 3 sections, or another way to find the union is to go universal minus 16, right? So regardless, you still end up with 44 people. Regardless of how you do it, you should have. You'll find that 34, it's 44 if you go U minus outliers. If you add this up, you probably would get a different answer if you made a mistake, right? So that's another way of checking, hey, if they should both be the same. If I don't, something is off, right? What does it represent? Attended at least one event. That's the easiest way to describe. Or you can say attended either events. That's also okay. Attended either events. One or more. That's another way of saying. What about the last one here? R, not M. In that case, you just want R, not M. So it's just the 12 here. 12 people, and I'll explain it right away, only attended the Red River X. Why 1.5? I'll give you half for the numbers always, and 1 for the explanation, because to me it's important that you know what is the notation telling me. So that's why E and F are 1.5. So half for the number and 1 for the explanation. Okay, so give yourself a mark. What is it out of here? It's 2, 4, 6, and 3. That's 9. Okay, so the first question there all together would be 9 marks. So if you forget your outliers, for example, anything that's missing on the Venn diagram, I'd go half, minus half right away. If you're missing something that needs to be solved for, that's -1. If you get a negative, you get a -1. Things like that. So small mistakes, half, bigger mistakes, -1. You shouldn't get a 0 unless you completely butchered it, right? I create 2 sets that are disjoint. And so, honestly, you can do anything you want. You could go 1, 3, 5. And this is not for marks, I know. 2, 4, 6. Evens and odds are the best disjoint sets if there ever were any, right? And you can make it as many elements or as few as at least 3, it says. So I use 3, at least 3, right? Means 3 or more. They're disjoint. If you were to draw them, okay, you would actually have them not overlapping. Okay, there would be 6 elements. It would be 3 and 3. Okay. Or if you did, this is another thing, if you did draw the Venn diagram with overlapping circles, there should be nothing in the intersection. It should be blank. Okay, so that's another one. Graph the Venn diagram. There it is. Thought you'd never ask. Given the universal set 1 to 20, create 2 subsets that are disjoint. So you must obviously grab from this. It's basically it's repeat, right? I could have just basically copied and pasted this, but to make it different, I'm going to create a C set. I'm going to go 2, 4, 6, 8, maybe. And D, I will make it multiples of 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, right? To switch it up a little bit. The key here is there shouldn't have any overlapping. There should have no elements in common, right? So this is just an example. You could have created anything you wanted given that universal set. All right, this is not for marks, so let's go to the back side here. This one is worth marks. 380 students taking at least one of the following courses. So that kind of guarantees you no outliers, right? So now we can just fill in the rest. Don't get too used to that. There will be a mix. So you have U is 380. Biology is 215. Physics 173. And chemistry is 182. And yes, if you did it in a different order, it's going to be a bit painful to follow, but it doesn't matter where you put B, P, and C as long as the numbers are right. So I often have to like turn your work around when I mark to make sure I get that right. So 72 biology and physics. So that would be right in there. I just put it outside. 90 bio and chem. Okay, so that's 90. 60 physics and chem. So there's no onlys here. I don't know if you noticed that. That is what we have. And draw Venn diagram, fill all sections. We're in the process of doing this. B, how many take all 3 courses? That's X here. We're going to do that right now. Okay, so B, I'm going to do that right next to it. So it's really taking the universal. I'm going to put a 0 here for outliers so you don't forget about it. Take away the outliers. And then we add up the 3 sets. I'm going to regret this. It's not going to fit, but whatever. We'll make it work. Minus 90, minus 72, minus 60, plus X. All right, so you add up all the sets, you take away all intersections, and then you have to make sure you add the center back into it. So you end up with 380. And if you add and subtract all these numbers, let me cut to the chase, 348 plus X. Take away 348. X gives you 32. 32 students take all 3. Oops, what? What happened? Yikes. Need coffee. Okay, that's so this is, I would say two marks. Yeah, 2 marks for this. So if you set it up correctly at the beginning, I'd give you 1 mark. If you then make a mistake along the way, I would probably take off a whole mark if it's completely off. If I see that you just copied that number wrong, that's usually half off. Okay, so that's that. We can now take this back and insert. So 72 minus 32 is 40. 90 minus 32 is 58. And then so forth, right? So I'm going to just copy what I have here. This should be 73. This should be 28 because I take 60 minus 32 to get that. This is 64. This is 85. Okay, so that would be a complete Venn diagram. Again, if you make a small mistake because you copied it wrong, give yourselves a half off. If I don't know if one thing I would check, for example, like if you get this one completely off, if I add up and it's not 182 here, like if it's way off, I usually take a full mark off. Okay, there needs to be a box around it. If you don't have a box, that's half off. And so, so the Venn diagram gets 3 marks because it's a lot more work. And then the finding the middle gets 2. C, how many students are taking biology or physics? What are we asking for? It's this, right? The union between the 2. So bio or physics. So you have to add up everything when you combine those 2. So I'm just going to go 215 plus 2873. That is the quickest way once you know this whole circle. So that is 165. No, that can't be. 316. I was looking at the wrong students. 1 mark for that. And this is based on your Venn diagram. So if you know how to read the Venn diagram, you shouldn't lose any marks here. Like it's basically what you have here. So if you made a mistake on your Venn, take off marks there, but you don't take off here if I can see that you added the correct areas. D, how many students are taking physics and chemistry but not biology? So physics and chemistry but not bio, that would be the 28 right here. Physics and chemistry. Yeah, that's 28. All right, that's another mark. So add it up. So this would be 3, 7. So 7 marks for question 4. And before I move on, I still want to use this for a teaching moment here. Errors, you know what? What's the error on this one right here? What's something that we don't like? Yeah. It's not sorted. That's correct. So sorting, it's sort of right. Got it? That's a joke for today. What's wrong here? You technically need a capital letter. They're so picky, right? Capital letter. And then this one, you've got double. You can't have, right, like doubling up. Repeats, can't have repeats. Is V a subset of K? Is this a subset of K? Not even close, right? Like there's like all of the elements in V would have to be in there. So it's no, not all. I'll just shorten this. Not all in V are in C. And I hope you know what I mean with that. Not all elements in V are also in C. Identify a pair of joint sets from the ones given above. Explain how you know. I would say K and V, right? Sets K and V, since they share, what is it, 4? Yeah, they share 4, right? One element. So they're not joint by a whole lot, but they are joint. Okay. That's not for marks, so don't take anything off. So 7 for this page, and then the front was worth 9. Oh, I did ask you to do. No, I crossed out 5, right? Yeah, never mind. So 7 and 9, that would make this 16. So just make it out of 16.